Today's dish is one of my favorites. Blackened steelhead with grilled baby head lettuce and a delicious anchovy vinaigrette. Don't condemn the anchovies. Try it. You love Caesar salad. This is a beautiful steelhead. The first thing that we want to do is want to break down this beautiful fish. I have a fillet knife here. The first move that I'm going to make is at an angle towards the head. I'm under the fillet, but I'm on top of that center bone. I just come down the length of the fillet, and I'm able to remove that entire piece. You have a really nice filleted steelhead. And look at that bright, bright color. And see that little mountain range of tiny little pin bones all have to come out. So I'm just pulling out at the angle in which those pin bones are positioned. All right, pin bones out, but now we have to trim it up. So I want to get rid of some of this extraneous fat, reveal that gorgeous flesh. You can see here these rib bones, so we have to remove those. And I want to do that by laying my knife as flat as I can against the fish and just making a very, very delicate move right down the line. If you kind of pull a little bit, it really helps, just comes right off the animal. Now, when I'm blackening fish, I tend to want to get that blackened crust on both sides. So I'm actually going to take this off of the skin, cut in here, and really, really, really important, I am holding the skin taut. And that's probably the most important tip I can give anyone, because if you do that, you will be able to take the skin off really, really easily. That's what you want to see. My next move, I'm going to separate the belly from the top loin. This lower piece, the belly, is absolutely delicious. I'm going to do something else with that. This is the top loin, and this is the part that I'm going to blacken. Now, I can cut this into appropriate portions. So I have these perfect 5-ounce portions of fish. I'm going to blacken these, but most important thing first, wash your hands. All right, first thing that I want to do, just get my butter melted. Next thing that I want to do is make my herb mix that is going to go onto the fish after it's been blackened. I have thyme, some ground oregano. I have some minced shallot, paprika, some cayenne pepper, lemon zest. Probably my favorite ingredient in here. It just perks absolutely everything up. A little vegetable oil, a little olive oil. I'm gonna season that with a little salt. And then the next thing, you get a couple tablespoons of minced rosemary. Just take the leaves off the stem. I want to keep the rosemary big enough so people bite down onto little pieces of it, but I also want to make sure that it's small enough so that when it hits the hot steelhead, it actually puts some of its flavor into the fish, right? So you want those rosemary oils accessible. Put a little bit of lemon juice in there, and I'm going to let this sit. This is what I'm going to spoon right over the fish. Taste it. Why is that important? Maybe you need a little more salt. Maybe you need a little more lemon. That cayenne starts hard and fast and then disappears. That's beautiful. All right, so we can let that sit for a couple minutes. Our lettuce. I want to take the very end of this off, which has a little browning, but I want to leave that piece attached. All I want to do, start on one of the high points of the spine and draw my knife through, making sure it's cut in half, but that stem end is holding it together. All right, so I've got this beautiful pile of lettuce ready to be grilled. Okay, mortar, pestle. My anchovies, I'm gonna put a little bit of salt in there because it helps the grind on my shallots. My mustard has some binding properties to it, so it's gonna really help with the emulsification process. Let's put a little pepper in there as well. Think Caesar dressing. And when it hits that warm top of the grilled lettuce, it's gonna melt in there. It's absolutely fantastic. So once you get that anchovy broken up by rubbing, then you can rub a little harder, pound out a couple pieces, and I've pulverized that mixture together. And at that point, emulsify it with a little bit of olive oil. The key to this is something I don't have much of, patience. And that lemon juice and red wine vinegar knocks back that anchovy flavor. A little bit more salt. You can't even tell that anchovies are in there. It's just an umami bomb. Let's get these ready, and then we're gonna start cooking. Just enough olive oil to sort of coat the outer edges of those leaves, probably like a 1/4 teaspoon of each, and just smear it around. You just wanna make sure that these get a nice char on them. First thing I wanna do is to season my fish. Pour a little bit of that melted butter onto each piece. Total complete coverage. If you do that, your blackening is going to turn out a lot better. So now I just want to extend my cooking zone, just managing my fire. Hottest part of the grill, right over those coals. My lettuce, and we're gonna let those cook on one side and get as blackened and charred as we can, while still maintaining the crispness on the top. The tops are soft, you've overcooked it. Look at how beautiful that is. This is perfectly charred lettuce. And I just lay these kind of like flowers in sets of 3. Just get a notch or 2 closer to the fire, really get some nice blackening in there. Drag the fish across the pan. That'll tell you whether or not it's hot enough. And I'm going show side down. And I'm gonna let that cook 2.5 minutes on that side and check one. You don't wanna overcook this fish. It'll continue to cook while it rests. Around the edges there, it's actually starting to turn opaque through the edges of the flesh. And that's what you basically want to look for. Then the steelhead is telling you that it's ready to be flipped. Very little guesswork at this point. All right. This is going to be some gorgeous blackened steelhead. Just a little daubing on the cloth. Look at that gorgeous blackening right away while those tops are nice and hot. About a tablespoon on top of each one. It's lovely to have the heat from the fish actually start to cook some of that herb paste that we're putting on there. This works equally well with almost any wild fish I can think of, from sea trout to halibut. Throwing a little bit of salt, spoon, some of this vinaigrette over the lettuce. You have sort of the crispy radish with that soft, fatty steelhead that has that great crust on it and that herb paste. And then the last thing, just take a lemon. Just can't have enough lemon. With the richness of the steelhead and the vinaigrette, this is just a lovely plate of food. While this may look a little chefy, any supermarket in that last town you go through on the way, wherever you're fishing from, they're gonna have all the ingredients for this. So this is very, very doable at fish camp. This fish is just flaky and delicious. I want to get some of that sauce there. Oh. You have all the flavor of that crusty, blackened steelhead. The texture, the crunch on the outside, the soft, yielding flesh. But you don't have any of that acrid, burnt spice mix that so frequently comes along with it, because we haven't scorched our spice mixture. We've just placed it on top of the fish. So, so good. That herb paste got a lot of big flavor. So you need a big flavor on those greens. That char on the edges of all of that lettuce is just remarkable. Easy, fast, elegant, highlighting the quality of the steelhead. This is truly the way to cook wild steelhead or any wild game fish that you may have.